premium collections of PhilHealth members. Kasi meron tayong Universal Healthcare Law that mandates na we'll start collecting, actually starting last year, 2.75%. And then next year, 2020 to 2021, magiging 0.5% a year hanggang magiging 5% of the gross monthly income in 2024. So these are the premium increases covering all direct members. Ibig sabihin, yung mga self-employed professionals like, doctors, lawyers, engineers, eto sila ang affected.
Mr. Morales, this is in line with which law? Kasi sinabi kanina ni Presidential Spokesman Harry Roque, wala naman daw yan sa Universal Healthcare Law na yung increase na yan.
Circular lang
siya. Pero anong law yung sinusunod ninyo? Kasi gradual increase yan, di ba, every year?
That's right. It's in the law. It's in one section of the law that mandates the rate of increase under Republic Act 11223, the Universal Healthcare Law. Yun ang batas na sinusunod at in-implement ng PhilHealth.
Pero circular lang daw yun, sir. Sabi nga kanina.
The circular was announcing the increase. But the increase is according to law.
Oh, I see.
So, suspension lang yan. Suspension lang siya. During the pandemic lang ba yung suspension? O
voluntary?
Eventually. If it's under the law, kailangan pa rin siyang i-implement, di ba? So, sinuspindi lang siya for OFWs.
Yeah. Nobody kasi anticipated. Nobody anticipated yung pandemic eh. So everybody is cash strapped. Lahat ng tao lang pera. So we already...
Yes, sir. Sir, but to Ami's point, if it is in the law that you have to increase to 3% for 2020, then the president cannot just unilaterally suspend it without an amendment to the law.
Well, the president issued a directive, so we are studying it, how we are going to implement it. Kasi before that, we already announced a flexible payment scheme dahil nga dito sa pandemic, lahat ng tao walang pera. So we said na along with the provisions of the Bayanihan Law, i-move back namin yung deadline. Instead na susunod sila sa yung monthly deadlines or quarterly deadlines, we move it back up to May 30. But it looks na hindi naman matatapos ito ng May 30. So inurong na naman namin hanggang end of June. Pero alanganin pa rin tayo. So now we're looking at for as long as this pandemic exists. So flexible tayo sa payment. Ngayon, meron din kasing gusto magbayad eh. So, siyempre, yung magbabayad, tatanggapin ng PhilHealth yung payment nila.
Oo. Mr. Morales, anong magiging epekto niyan dun sa, kasi even before this happened, hindi na nga ma-roll out ng kumpleto yung Universal Healthcare Law. Tapos, medyo binawasan nyo yung coverage ng PhilHealth for COVID cases, di ba? Ano magiging impact niya? Napakalaki ba ng magiging impact niyan dun sa funding requirements ninyo during the pandemic and for the Universal Healthcare Law?
Well, we already anticipated a net loss kasi nga we were not given the budget that we asked for sa 2020 budget. But additionally, itong dumating yung pandemic, di bumigat lalo yung so tatamaan yung reserves namin. So that's why we're carefully husbanding our funds, and then we applied yung case rate. Ibig sabihin, after April 14, sasagutin namin up to a certain level lang yung levels of severity ng COVID. The highest of which is 786,000. That is to allow sustainability in the COVID campaign.
Sir, may sinabi kayo na kung ibabalanse yung gains at saka yung losses, yung binabayad at saka yung benepisyo, na actually mas mabigat yung benefits. Pakipaliwanag nyo nga kung paano nangyari yun.
This is, I think you're referring to the OFW memberships,
Yes.
Because last year, we collected a total premium from OFWs, mga 1.02 billion.
Yes.
Now, in return, we paid out to OFWs and their dependents 1.7 billion. So the
Okay.
balance of payments is in favor of the OFWs and their dependents. They came out ahead.
I see. So do you see that happening given our situation now?
Well, lalo na ngayon kasi nakasaad sa bayanihan law na sasagutin ng PhilHealth lahat ng cost of treatment ng COVID-19 and pati yung mga frontliners, mga healthcare workers. So yeah, we expect to suffer an even bigger loss because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay.
Paano yun? Magre-request kayo, sir, ng additional funding ba? Are you asking for additional budget from Congress? Kasi nag-reopen na, nag-resume na ng session ng Congress eh. Meron ba kayong balak na manghingi ng additional? Dahil kulang na nga yung pondo para ma-cover lahat ng COVID cases.
Yes, we already provided our request details to the DBM, which is consolidating the Department of Finance, consolidating itong, I think from all the other departments also and agencies, yung requirement to meet the COVID pandemic. So yes, we are asking more funds.
Pero sir, what numbers are you looking at? Yun?
Well, I think I cannot reveal to you kasi mawawalan tayo ng flexibility. But it's not too much. It's two figures Bs, ganyan. Mga less than 20 billion.
Sir, kumusta
Mr.
naman
Morales,
po
in the
yung
meantime po,
payout?
kumusta naman po ang, kukumustahin ko lang po yung mga hospitals naman natin. Does any of this that we're talking about have any implications for hospitals, their reimbursements, and what they can expect from PhilHealth, both now and moving forward, given the new challenges and difficulties that you've mentioned?
Yeah, at the start of the pandemic, we prepared a war chest, COVID war chest of about 30 billion. Advanced to about 5,000 hospitals, all level 1, 2, 3 referral hospitals, even mga dialysis clinics and then mga lying-in clinics. About 5,000 healthcare institutions in all. And so far, we have released, ibig sabihin, nasa bank account ng mga hospital, about 12 to 13 billion. So we're continuing to release, to preposition the funds so that the hospitals can respond to the COVID threat.
Okay. Advanced po to, as you said, you advanced it to the hospitals.
Yes, advance payment, preposition ng funds.
Pero sir, I'm sure you're aware na ang UST, the varsitarian of UST had a story just this week na nagre-retrenchment yung UST hospital supposedly because of receivables from PhilHealth amounting to 180 million pesos.
Million.
So nahihirapan sila
Tinamaan
to
ako dun,
sustain. Million, 180 million. So nahihirapan silang mag-sustain ng operations. So which may utang ba kayo sa UST na hindi pa nababayaran o may sapat kayong pera para maglabas ng funds for COVID-19?
Yeah. Unang-una, in the past 5 years, PhilHealth paid to UST Hospital a total of 2.1 billion for the past 5 years. And then in April of this year, no, April 18, we advanced yung tinatawag naming interim reimbursement mechanism of 85 million. So yes, may utang kami sa UST Hospital, but as any business, lalo na a health financing business, meron naman talaga mga accounts payable but not in the scale na minimension ng UST. As a matter of fact, we paid them, I think, last year more than 300 million. So I don't know where this 180 million is coming from.
Yes sir, pero kung 180 yung count ng UST, but that's their count, diba? 180 million ang count ng UST, pero you gave them 85 million this year, that leaves pa 95 million na floating around, possibly hindi pa nababayaran. If we just go by the numbers superficially, so that's still a significant amount. It's almost 100 million.
No, yung total claims nila is about 190 million, but we already paid a major portion of that. Siguro ang payables namin are in the neighborhood of mga 15. Yeah.
15 na lang.
Not 100, yes, so 15. Mm-hmm.
Sir, sir, ginawang voluntary sa mga OFW yung pagbayad nung increase, no? Kung kayo kakausapin yung mga, siyempre mas gusto nyo na mas marami mag-volunteer. Kung ibebenta nyo sa kanila yung increase, anong makukuha nila if they will pay higher premiums? Kung sasabihin nyo sa kanila, magbayad naman kayo, ituloy nyo na yung dagdag, o kaya mag-member kayo sa PhilHealth before you leave the country. Kasi sabi nila, wala naman daw silang pakinabang pag magtatrabaho sila sa abroad, ano daw pakirabang nila sa PhilHealth. Anong sagot nyo sa ganon? Just to get them to contribute more to your organization.
Well, una-una, makikinabang dyan yung mga pamilya nilang naiwan dito that are covered by PhilHealth. And secondly, palagay ko yung mga OFW naman natin dito magre-retire sa Pilipinas. So meron na silang naipon na pondo so that pagka naging lifetime member na sila, nakabuo na sila ng 10 years na premium payment or 120 months, hindi na sila kailangang magbayad. They're covered for the rest of their lives dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. So yun ang mabibigay ng PhilHealth.
Sir, ang gusto nga nila, sir, i-suspend na permanently yung kanilang contributions. Anong epekto nun? Pagka nangyari yun, just theoretically.
Sorry, medyo choppy, ano? Come again,
Yes.
please.
Yung mga grupo ng OFW, para sa kanila, dapat nga raw permanente nang i-suspend ang contributions. Theoretically, kung mangyari yon, anong long-term effect nun sa PhilHealth?
Well, madideplete ang funds ng PhilHealth kasi tuloy-tuloy naman itong nangangailangan ng healthcare. May nanganganak, may nagda-dialysis, mayroong nag-kidney transplant. So, hindi lang naman COVID daw sinasagot ng PhilHealth. Marami ring ibang nangangailangan ng healthcare. So, madideplete ang funds kung walang collection, walang premium collection.
Kasi naiisip nila may insurance na sila dun eh. So bakit nga naman kailangan pa nila rito? I think yun yung concern.
Yes, ang ano kasi ng health insurance, naisip lang yan ng karamihan kung nagkakasakit na sila. Kaya nagiging catastrophic. Yan ang gustong iwasan ng universal healthcare, yung catastrophic cost of illness. Hindi nakakatapos ng pag-aaral mga bata, nagbebenta ng gamit, ng ari-arian. Kung merong magkakasakit ng, let's say, cancer or transplant, yun ang iniiwasan natin. Kaya naguhulugan every month according to the capacity to pay ng mga members so that pag may nagkasakit, merong pagkukunan.
Parang hard sell kasi yung PhilHealth sa mga OFW, no? Somehow. What do you plan to do to sell the concept more readily? Actually, not just to OFWs, but to Filipinos in general.
Yung universal healthcare, ito lang yung so far, yung existing na program that allows low to middle income countries like the Philippines to protect their citizens from catastrophic cost of illness. Kasi unang-una, hindi naman lahat sabay-sabay magkasakit. So there must be more people paying. The more people pay, the more funds na nakakabuo tayo ng pondo para kung may nagkasakit, a member of the population, pinag-ambag-ambag yung bigay ng iba para matulungan yung magkakasakit. Now,
pero marami rin,
a very small portion, yes, a small portion of our population, mga 5%, hindi nagkakasakit. Swerte naman sila dahil hindi sila nagkasakit. But for example, yung mga seniors natin that constitute about 10% of our population, 25% na ng benefits sila ang nagkiklaim mga seniors.
Sir, sabi
Mr. Morales, ironically, if there's anything to prove or to provide a case study for everything that you're saying right now, we're in it, di ba? But I'm just curious, is there anything during this COVID crisis? Is there anything during this COVID crisis that makes you think and realize na, nako, even that is not yet factored in. Is there anything out of COVID and out of our response that you think has not yet been factored into our universal healthcare system?
Well, one thing is that we do not know how long this will last. That's one thing na hindi na factor.
Right.
So we're watching very closely yung developments, not only dito sa atin but in other countries. But siguro it might interest you to note that yung ating death rate appears to be lower than some countries whom we thought had excellent healthcare systems, like in Europe, no? Mas mababa yung ating death rate. So, and then magmamas testing ang Red Cross and the different LGUs. So, to be able to, sinasabi nila, flatten the curve, ma-identify natin yung mga nangangailangan ng isolation, and hopefully, if our government strategy works, yung identify, isolate, and treat, but it's still not as good as a vaccine. Yung vaccine talagang will release us all from this purgatory.
Sir, sabi rin ng mga members, ayusin niyo raw muna yung corruption issue. Kasi wala pa raw final outcome yung investigation dun sa nawawalang pondo. So sabi nila, bakit ang bilis humingi pero ang bagal mag-investigate? Anong sagot niyo ron?
Alam nyo, when I came in, kasi last year there was nga a controversy dito sa PhilHealth, yung 154 billion daw.
Right.
You know, we were audited by COA. In the past, 2000 up to 2017, COA gave PhilHealth an unqualified unqualified opinion sa kanilang audit. Ibig sabihin, COA found no reason to state na may nawawalang that amount of money. And then I also asked the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, and we asked also help from the Ombudsman and the Sandigan Bayan. Alam mo, hindi malocate yung it appears na itong so-called 154 billion is unsubstantiated so far, because we would not be able to roll out this 30 billion war chest if we did not have those funds available. So, continuing pa naman, we have about 10,000 cases for investigation. Para na kaming investigative body nito because malaki kasi ang mga operations ng PhilHealth. Every month we transact about 1 million claims and we pay out about 10 to 12 billion. Not even, I don't know about the other GOCCs, pero malaki yung operations namin. Ngayon, if you have 1 million claims, hindi naman totally fraud-free yan. There must be some fraud or, slippages like inefficiencies, but not on the scale as reported. We have not found it so far.
Okay. Salamat, sir.
Okay, sir. That's it for PhilHealth President Ricardo Morales. Sir, maraming salamat for joining us tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Please stay with us.
Thank you, sir.
You, and thank you for the
Maraming salamat po.
opportunity. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So stay right there. The Chiefs will be right back.
Welcome back to this special edition of the Chiefs. With us, FW Party List Chairman Aniceto Bertis III, and also with us from Hong Kong, Eman Villanueva of Bayan, Hong Kong, and Macau. Welcome to the Chiefs, gentlemen. We're with Ed Lingao of TV5, Chief Cruz of News 5, and Robbie Alampay po. Welcome po sa The Chiefs.
Good afternoon po.
Siguro kumustahin muna namin po si Mr. Villanueva. Kumusta po tayo sa Hong Kong, mga kababayan natin dyan? Ang dami-dami natin dyan. Kumusta po yung COVID pandemic dyan and how are you coping?
Well, so far naman po yung situation ngayon is a bit better. Nito pong nakaraang almost 2 weeks na ay walang mga cases ng local transmission. I think except for today na meron yatang isa or dalawa. Pero most of the recent cases po na mga minsan isa o dalawa ay yun pong mga galing sa labas ng Hong Kong. Pero maliit na po yung bilang. So hopefully magtuloy-tuloy. Yung ating mga kababayan naman so far po ay medyo na dumarami na yung nakakalabas pag rest day at hindi na rin po kasing higpit nung dati. So hopefully kung hindi man po itong buwan na ito next month ay sana medyo mas maayos na ang situation.
Nabalitaan niyo po yung yung medyo nagkaroon ng controversy because of the increase in PhilHealth contributions. Na ano po ang posisyon niyo? Siyempre, I think protesta, no? Pero sabihin niyo na rin sa amin yung posisyon niyo dito.
Yes, opo. Mariin po naming tinutulan yan. In fact, ang Hong Kong ang isa sa may pinakamalakas na opposition dyan. Dito po ay united yung community against the PhilHealth na yung mandatory membership ng mga overseas Filipinos at especially yun pong salary base na premium na 3 to 5% starting 2020 hanggang 2025. In fact, nito lamang pong kahapon po, ito pong linggo ay nagkaroon ng petition signing in around Central at sa ilang lugar sa Hong Kong. And kahit po konti pa ang lumalabas ng mga kababayan natin, we were able to gather nearly 7,000 signatures in just one day. Ganun po kainit, no? At sa totoo lang naghahanap po ng protesta yung ating mga kababayan dito. Unfortunately at the moment ay meron pong crowd control regulation sa Hong Kong na not more than 4 people ang pwede mag-gather. So pero talagang mariin po yung pagtutol ng ating mga kababayan dyan.
Bakit nga ho ba tinututulan nyo samantalang sinasabi nila na malaki daw ang benepisyo na kukuha ng mga pamilya ninyo kung hindi kayo mismo?
Well, una po, siguro yun po ang opinion ng PhilHealth. Pero sa karanasan po ng ating mga OFWs dito, for example, sa Hong Kong, we have more than 220,000 na mga OFWs at additional around 20,000 pa na mga residents dito sa Hong Kong and professionals. Ay bihirang-bihira po dito yung talagang nakaka-avail ng services ng PhilHealth. Isa po dyan ay yung kadahilanan na yung ilan din po naming mga miyembro ng pamilya ay PhilHealth members na. For example, ako po, yung kapatid ko, dalawa, mga PhilHealth members po yun. Yun pong aking nanay ay senior citizen, hindi na po siya required ng PhilHealth.
Yes.
So kung ako po, pwersahin na magbayad ng PhilHealth, sa totoo lang po, hindi ko na pakikinabangan. So marami pong cases na kagaya ko. Kaya nga po yung sa amin, bakit ginagawang mandatory? Kasi kung talaga namang may need, and I'm sure there are some people na posibleng may pangangailangan, ay tingin ko sila ay voluntarily magme-member kung nakikita nila yung need at nakikita nilang may pakinabang. Ang masakit po kasi nito yung pati yung hindi naman makikinabang ay pwersahing magbayad. So yun po siguro nandoon nagmumula. Then secondly po, mabigat po talaga yung premium increase, no? Yun pong 3 to 5% na yan. Sa totoo lang po, diyan po matindi ang reaction ng ating mga kababayan. That's about 11,000 pesos a year. Bihira po sa mga domestic workers natin dito ang nakakapag-save ng 11,000 pesos a year. So tapos biglang kukunin ng PhilHealth. Mas malaki pa po 'yon sa monthly remittance ko sa nanay ko. So parang hindi po siya talaga katanggap-tanggap, lalo na sa mga kagaya namin na low income OFWs. And even po doon sa iba, meron po tayo ditong mga domestic workers na may driving duties. Some of them are earning more than 60,000 pesos. Matindi rin po reaction nila. Yung isa nga pong comment ng ating mga kababayan dito, mag-asawa po sila. Pareho po silang lampas doon sa ceiling yung babayaran, yung 60,000 pesos na ceiling. So that's about 43,000 mahigit a year, no? Sabi niya, one contract, they'll be paying more than 80,000. Ang sabi niya, isang tricycle na yon. Hindi nga sila makabili ng tricycle for themselves. So, medyo, mabigat. Tingin po namin hindi nararapat at talagang sa totoo lang, it's unfair.
Nako, paano yung babaligtarin yan? Nakasaad na sa batas sa
Totoo
universal healthcare. Paano?
Well, yan nga po ang aming isang demand at mariin na panawagan. Kasi kanina lamang po may mga anunsyo na nagsalita ang si Presidente Duterte na nagbigay ng direktiba, gawin na lang daw voluntary. Sinabihan na rin daw po ni Secretary Duque itong PhilHealth na i-suspend na yung ilang provisions ng IRR, particularly yun pong refer doon sa inclusion ng OFWs. Pero ang tingin po namin, this is just a temporary
Yes, temporary lang yan.
Kaya nga po, hindi po ito ang hinihingi ng mga OFWs. Even po yung sinabi ni Presidente Duterte, hindi po namin pwedeng panghawakan because it goes against the existing provisions of the law. So ang amin pong demand, total naman nag-resume na ng session ang Kongreso, dapat po siguro isa ito sa gawing urgent. Kung yung pagpapasa po nito ay sinertipika ng Presidente na isang urgent bill, I think the amendment or yung pag-repeal ng mga provision dito na hindi katanggap-tanggap sa ating mga OFWs ay gawin ding isang urgent na dapat harapin ng ating legislature. Hindi po kami kontento doon sa, sabi nga namin, laway lang, hindi niyan kayang baguhin ang existing na batas.
Okay, dapat siguro tanongin natin si Congressman, no?
Mr. Villanueva, magandang kayo ipasok natin. Ex-OFW Party List Chairman Aniceto John Bertis III. Mr. Bertis, can you give us the background to itong lahat ng pinag-uusapan natin kung paano tayo humantong sa ganitong sitwasyon?
Unang-una po, as early as June, yung mga last few weeks natin sa Kongreso, ay yung linabas po talaga na IRR ng PhilHealth ay tinutulan po natin yan. Kasi unang-una, sabi nga po ni Secretary Roque na wala po yung increase na isiningit nila sa IRR. So, salamat po tayo kay Presidente Duterte dahil po natigil yan. Pero importante pa po, tulad nga po ng panawagan din ni Ka Eman, na dapat po ay rebisahin, unahin muna natin yung IRR at kung may nakasaad man sa batas dyan sa UHCA law na yan, na ito ay naging mandatory dahil na rin sa sinabi ni Presidente na gawing itong voluntary. Pero marami po kasi doon sa mga nabanggit kanina sa interview kay PhilHealth President na hindi po talaga tugma kung pagbabasihan natin yung data. Unang-una yung collection nila na 1 billion 1.02 billion na nakolekta lang daw nila sa mga OFW. Kasi kung titignan nyo po, babalikan natin yung pondo, ay ibig sabihin nasa 416,000 lang yung umalis na OFW. At hindi po ang OFW as per the record of POEA na umaalis 5,000 per day multiplied by 2,400 ay yan po yung total. So mga 4 billion a year yan. Isa po to. Kaya nga po, mariin natin talagang tinututulan tong increase na to ng PhilHealth, lalong-lalo na po sa mga OFW. Kasi nga, hindi makatuwiran. Wala pong malinaw na patutunan or yung guidelines kung bakit nila in-increase at ano po yung benepisyo makukuha nila ng mga OFW na tulad natin. Second,
pero sir, atras kaya tayo ng kaunti. Ito po bang increases ay nasa IRR o nasa batas mismo? Kasi yung IRR pwede mong rebasahin, yung batas kailangan mong amyendahan.
Wala po sa batas.
Wala po sa batas. Yes.
Actually, nasa IRR po yan. Kaya nagugulat nga tayo at talagang kinukondina natin to kahit nung nakaraang taon pa, bakit kayo mag-i-increase sa OFW? Bakit din binase nyo sa salary base ng mga OFW na dollar ito? Tapos yung payout and refund and benefits nyo sa PhilHealth ay base sa luma nyo pa ring schedule. So hindi rin masakot ng ating PhilHealth. Kung ano yung dahilan increase. Ang pinakamasakit po nito, mismo sa kanya na nanggaling, nung tinanong po ni Ma'am Lucy na ano ba mangyayari pagka hindi tumigil ng pagbabayad ng OFW? Di ba sabi nila, mababang karote ang PhilHealth. So ito ang malaking dahilan na hindi rin totoo yung 1 billion na fund niya kasi nga malaking portion ng mga remittances or binabayad mandatory ng mga OFW sa PhilHealth na ginagamit talaga ng PhilHealth ngayon, which is ako po bilang isang OFW at yung mga sila ka-Eman, alam naman po natin karamihan sa atin umuwi after 2 years pero nagbayad na tayo ng ating membership na 2,400. Employer po, nasa batas din po yan at nasa kontrata natin na lahat po ng foreign employers ay magpo-provide ng medical insurance and must pay the medical expenses of the migrant workers. At hindi lang batas sa atin, batas din sa bansa nila na kinokolekta yan sa mga kumpanya which is hindi naman binabawas sa ating mga OFW. So mas maganda yung medical benefits na nakukuha ng ating mga kababayan kesa sa atin. Going back naman po dun sa claim na 1.7 billion. Saan na binasi nga? Every 2 years nga umuwi ang 85% ng ating mga OFW. So bukod pa dun sa mga kaso na kinasangkutan ng PhilHealth na more than 16 million yung uncollected na mga unremitted collection ng PhilHealth sa mga OFW, hindi pa yung kasama yung mga hindi rin na-remit nang nakolekta sa ibang bansa. So, ninanakawan ka na, magbabayad ka pa ng increase. Kaya nga, dapat po, revisahin natin itong IRR na to. Unang-una, ito po yung pinakamabilis. Ang presidente po natin ay meron siyang prerogative and rights na baguhin ito kung ito ay hindi naaayon or hindi po patas sa ating mga kababayan.
Pero Congressman, sabi niya, yung pamilya ninyo ang nakikinabang. Yung pamilya ninyo dito. Yung pamilya nyo ba covered ng insurance ng employer ninyo? Yung binibigay sa inyo?
Dito po hindi.
Yun na nga. So may benepisyo yung pamilya nyo.
Diba? Kaya nga din po natin yung mga claimants na family because there's a lot of complaints sa ating mga OFW at pamilya nila na hindi rin sila nakaka-refund or nakaka-claims nung na kanilang mga hospitalizations. At napakaliit din po nung refund. Tulad po, for example, merong isang kababayan tayo na 10,000 real ang kanyang ginastos sa sarili niyang bulsa. At pagdating niya rito, 2,000 pesos ang kanyang refund. Tapos ang katwiran sa kanya, bakit ito lang po ang nakalagay po sa schedule ng refund natin. So, ibig sabihin, hindi mo ina-adjust na binabase mo yung collection mo based on dollar pero yung benepisyo is based on peso, di ba? Ito po ang dapat linawin. Kasi mismo tayo po mismo, kung babasahin natin yung IRR, bakit siya tumaas at yung mga guidelines ng existing guidelines ng PhilHealth, ay hindi talaga siya tugma sa kukolektihin mo at saka sa mga binibigay mong benepisyo.
But then that goes for everyone, for every member. Mas malaki talaga yung binabayad sa nakukuha, no? So it's not something that's exclusive to you.
Yeah. Tama nga po yung 2 million na reported na umalis po ng POEA, it is only a new hire. Hindi pa kasama yung balik manggagawa na pong nakabayad. So more or less,
mas malaki pa yung binabayad nyo.
6 billion something ang kinokolekta nila. Kaya nga po, siya na mismo, mga presidente ng PhilHealth, si General na po nagsabi na pagka hindi naghulog ang OFW, mawawala tayong phone, madiduplit talaga. So, kumpara mo na dito talaga nagre-rely ang PhilHealth kaya pinipisa nila sa IRR kahit wala po sa batas yan, na isubo yan sa mga OFW. Tapos, ginawa pa nilang salary base. Dati nga, wala na tayong angal sa 2,400 For the longest, mandatory yan, binabayaran sa POEA pag kumukuha ka ng OPC. It was only in 2015 and 2016 na tumigil po ang pag-kolekta ng POEA, pero ganun pa man, prerequisite pa rin to bago ka kumuha ng OEC. So, yung data ng PhilHealth sa mga nagbayad na OFW ay malayong-malayo po doon sa binibigay nila at sa actual na collection, which is dapat ipaliwanag din ng POEA bakit mismo si Admin Sarmiento at si Secretary Roque na rin ang nag-file ng kaso criminal and administrative sa PhilHealth.
What do you think? Sige, go ahead.
Mr. Bertis, I just want to digress a bit. Kasi kanina may mga nag-express ng concern na lalo pang dadami mag-uuwian nating mga OFW because of the pandemic. Meron ba kayong anong mga report nyo latest? Dadagsa pa ba yung mga magbabalikan nating mga kababayan? Saka meron ba silang, yun ang problema, may uuwian ba silang trabaho dito? Ano yung sitwasyon ngayon ng OFW natin?
Ito po ang nakakatakot na sitwasyon, not only because of the COVID health pandemic, pero yung economic impact nito sa ating bansa. Alam niyo naman po na 30 billion annually, the last reported remittances is 30 billion US dollar. Ngayon po, bumaksak tayo ng almost 3 billion dollar, which is around 255 billion peso. Ang ating GDP ay 11.1% ay galing po sa remittances. We were expecting before the COVID na mag-i-increase tayo ng 1.5 billion dollar sa remittances ngayon dahil nga sa ganda ng ekonomiya ng ibang bansa. Pero nagkaroon tong COVID. Meron po tayong mga 200,000 na nag-apply dyan sa DOLI AKAP na yan. Ibig sabihin, this will convert to a 200,000 displaced OFW worldwide na humihingi ng tulong sa ating pamahalaan na dapat unahin natin yung pagtulong sa kanila kesa singilin mo ng pagkataas-taas na premium ng PhilHealth. Ito dapat ang una natin. Tsaka ito pa, ano ba yung reintegration program na nakahanda, mga programa ng ating pamahalaan? Kasi for sure, this COVID, especially the seafarers, na 250 plus cruise ship ang naka-grounded ngayon, that converts to almost 60 to 70,000 seafarers and cruise ship seaman ang nawalan po ng trabaho. At kung po ang gagawin natin sa kanila at nag-uuwian na sila, marami na po nag-declare ng mga bankruptcy. Ang pinakamaganda po sana ng paraan dyan ay since na ang US, ang Europe at ang Japan ay nagpo-pull out ng kanilang mga factory sa China, nagpo-pull out na sila, bakit hindi natin paghandaan? Kausapin na natin yung mga bansa na yun na marami kaming talented and highly skilled workers na dito sa Pilipinas, dito nyo ilipat sa aming mga factory nyo and we will give you a parang attractive package para sa mga factory nyo. Pero lumabas po sa isang news sa Japan na ang Pilipinas is not even on the list ng priority ng Japan para ilipat yung kanilang mga factory because of raw materials, expensive utilities, electricity, etc. etc. So bakit hindi po natin ito paghandaan? Hindi yung sa ngayon lang na nakikita natin. Kasi the trend right now, those countries that we have so much OFW, especially in the retail sectors, in the manufacturing sectors, except for medical and technical category, ay talaga pong mawawalan po sila ng trabaho because of the new norms that most of the companies from home na rin, hindi na rin malabas.
Okay. Mr. Eman Villanueva, we're running out of time. Baka po may last word din kayo. From
yes, ang aming pong reiteration lang is for the Congress to amend the law. Salamat po at pareho kami ng posisyon nila Rep. Bertis. Pero gusto ko lang po ilinaw na nandoon mismo sa batas, no? Sa Chapter 3, Section 10, nandoon po yung 3 to 5% na singil at ito po'y salary based na premium at ito po'y para sa mga direct contributors. Nandoon po sa Chapter 1, Section 4, ang definition po ng direct contributors ay kasama ang migrant workers and qualified dependents. So hindi po totoong sa IRR lang. Kaya po hindi
nasa batas.
Nasa batas po ito. I have the copy of the mismong the Republic Act 11223 sa harap ko, signed by President Duterte, and it is already there in the law. May table pa po yan, yung schedule of payments. So I'd like to reiterate na ang position po namin hindi sasapat to amend the IRR. It is not just the problem of PhilHealth, it is the problem of the legislature. And I think it's the problem of the president because he personally signed the law last February 20, 2019. So again, ito po ang aming posisyon at and we will not, wala pong way out dito but to, isa lang po ang way out. And this is to amend the law or to repeal the whole portion that refers to this mandatory fee.
So,
Pero po, kung nasa
talaga
batas
ba-
kasi yan,
Oo. Batas ba o IRR? Kasi
In the law
you
po,
would know, di ba?
It's in the Republic Act po. May kopya po kami, it is already uploaded in the Philippine Gazette. At yun po ay signed by the President February 20, 2019.
Baka
At
yung
yun po,
scheduling. Baka yung scheduling.
nandun nga
Yung
po, tinatakda po
IRR.
mismo. No, it's not. It's in the
talagang-
law. It's in the law po. The exact computation from year 2019 to year 2025, from 2.75% up to 5% until 2025. And yung ceiling po, natataas ng 10,000 every year, starting po last year hanggang 2025.
All right. It's time.
kasi if that's the case, then the president cannot just suspend the implementation of the increase.
Amendment.
In the
Amendment.
he's invoking his special powers during the emergency lang naman.
Yeah,
Anyway,
emergency lang yun.
Siguro po during the emergency, but hopefully they can address this through the legislative process.
Permanently, yes.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Mr.
Pero Hong,
Eman,
bago natin bitawan si Eman, isang singit na tanong, Eman, sa inyo ba wala pa nangyayari ng kagaya nangyayari sa Taiwan doon sa labor attaché natin tsaka yung isang overseas worker?
Well, so far, wala pa naman po. Wala pa namang nangyayaring ganyan. And in fact, kami po, sinuportahan natin yung ating kababayan doon sa Taiwan. I think it is a direct infringement of yung kanyang right to free expression. At tingin po namin, hindi dapat i-export ng government natin yung kanyang martial rule kahit pa ito ay hindi formally declared overseas. Our OFWs po ay very engaged and very concerned sa nangyayari sa Pilipinas, and I think the government should allow us to express freely kung ano ang aming nararamdaman at ang aming pagtingin sa nagaganap sa Pilipinas.
Okay.
All right.
Pag-uusapan din natin ngayong gabi yung freedom of expression. Sa ngayon, magpapasalamat po kami, Mr. Eman Villanueva of Bayan muna, and ACT OFW Party List Chairman, John Bertis. Salamat po for joining the Chiefs.
Thank you.
Salamat din po.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat po.
We'll be back. Go.
Welcome back to the Chiefs. We are now in the final stage of our conversation for this episode. We are now joined by Melinda Quintos de Jesus, Executive Director of the Center for Media Freedom and Responsibility, or CMFR. Ma'am Melinda, welcome to the Chiefs.
Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you for inviting
Hi,
me.
evening po.
Hi, good evening. Very nice to see you all.
Melinda, yesterday, as you know, was World Press Freedom Day.
Yes.
And ang dami na, right now, we were just talking to representatives of the OFW sector. And of course, it came up, yung kaso nung isang OFW sa Taiwan, where there was an initiative by an overzealous labor attaché to send her back for critical statements posted on social media. Tomorrow naman, we're talking about the lapsing of the franchise of ABS-CBN. How ironic is
That's
it
right.
to be talking about free expression and press freedom in these days of crisis?
It's all we talk about, the irony of it. It is World Press Freedom Day, but we have to talk about how it really is a state of restricted, constricted, repressed in many ways. There is hardly any pretense that our government believes in a free press. It probably believes in a press, but once that press becomes critical, then everybody seems to question why the press is behaving the way it is. But that is the DNA of the Philippine press. That is, in fact, the DNA of Philippine politics. And this is the first time that we have had such like a wholesale. No, this morning I described it as the President Duterte went to the presidency and he actually demonstrated that he had an affliction, a virus, and we should have inoculated him with a lot of democracy and the spirit and the zeal. Behold, it's become a contagion. Everybody seems to have caught it within government. I mean, it's cascaded down from top to bottom. Anybody now who doesn't like what a columnist says or what a radio broadcaster says, etc., it becomes feels that he can do what he wants to do or she wants to do with them.
Yeah,
And the
but
cases
Melinda-
have been building up, not just the killings. You know, we used to focus on killings, and now we want to go and analyze all the different kinds by which we have been attacked.
But Melinda, right now, just in the context of COVID and these abnormal times, could you give us some discussion of the different ways by which you feel and you are monitoring that free expression has been under the gun in these abnormal times? I mean, beyond these cases in Taiwan.
No, absolutely. You know, it has been observed by most media watchdog organizations globally that globally in most countries where there is an authoritarian streak, including the US, there will be attempts to control free expression. If you have noticed the popularization of a narrative that don't complain, don't criticize, just follow the government. Well, you know, there is so much at stake. If something is going wrong with what a policy or a particular action or a lack of action or a delayed action, then the press responsibility is to tell the people that it is seeing this. And so in the Philippines, what we have seen indeed is not just for the journalists, but for ordinary people who have been basically called out because they have been critical. The case in Taiwan is one. There are several as well here. We have Julita Espinosa, she in General Santos, was arrested for sedition because when she criticized, and she's not a journalist, right? So we're talking about free expression here. When she criticized the slowness or the relief operation, she basically said, you should raid the gym. She did not act to raid the gym. She did not lead the raiding of the gym. She simply said, maybe where the stocks are held, you will then solve your hunger by going there. It's expression. And yet she was detained. She was arrested without a warrant. You also know about the campus journalist who was hauled into the barangay office and talked to by by his teacher. You know, it's not just government anymore. People are taking on this idea that we shouldn't be critical, that we shouldn't question, that we shouldn't ask questions, that we should not make demands. And yet one of the most successful responses in South Korea, where you had the foreign minister basically say, we committed to transparency and accountability because that's the only way you can win. That's the only way you can make sure that your people will work with you when you ask them to do something, because then they trust you. And whatever strategy that you have, then they know that it is for the greater good. Well, I think that that should have been the way, because we do have a democratic tradition. But let's face it, that in this administration, that tradition has been looked down on, it's been questioned, and now the general idea is that that free press must be curbed, you know, for whatever reason. It is the low tolerance of criticism that I think is the heart of the problem.
But ma'am, you know, in that same article, you also rightly, I would say, pointed out that even communities support the government's crackdown, as it
Actually,
were,
yes.
on freedom of speech in these times. How do you explain that?
I think it's a little bit herd mentality, not herd immunity, herd mentality. If you're in a barangay and you're in a community, and the chiefs of the barangays or the local government units basically say, you know, that you have a new administration and this is the way they want to do it, and so let's follow. Are you in that community going to be ready to set yourself apart and say, but I think differently? You know, so they're stoking something very deep in our feudal society. There is still a lot of feudalism. Somebody says on top, this is the way you have to do it, and you don't want to question it. Yeah, you don't want to question it because that sets you apart. You stand out, and somebody's going to say, "Hoy, ano akala niya? Magaling ba siya masyado? And, you know, are you so good that you're setting yourself apart?" I think part of that psyche is working, I think. But, and also because we did not fight back right away, many of the, we allowed Mr. Duterte to set the tone. You know, I don't like this press. I don't like this ABS-CBN. I don't like this PDI. I don't like Rappler, blah, 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 blah. And,
of course,
and people kept quiet.
Yes, but their justification is the spread of fake news, no? And there really, in essence, needed to be a filtering of what's true and accurate and what's fake. And there seems to be really, truly a campaign to come up with fake news.
Yes, of course.
Yes,
of course. One of the things that CMFR did in the very beginning was to identify the fake websites. You can tell a fake website, you can tell a fake source provider, content provider, if they don't tell them who they are, what the record is, what they stand for, if they don't talk about themselves, if they try to look like other kinds of websites that are legitimate, etc. And this became a fake block, which was supported by, worked on also by NUJP and BBDO. I mean, advertising community that basically said, you know, we need to help this community or our community to try and correct this thing that is going on, because then people don't know anymore what they want to believe.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, but Melinda, why is there that disconnect? Why is there that disconnect? That on the one hand, people can be very critical and can believe other critical leaders when they say, "Oh nga, ano ba silbi niyang free press na yan?" And yet, when they have a problem, they do run to the press. when they, I mean, we saw the fruits of press freedom and free expression just over this weekend. Nung umaga ng mga OFW, bakit kailangan
Absolutely.
kaming buwisan ng ganyan? And you see, within one day, the turnaround, the influence of public pressure, of free expression, and of the media all coming together to express their grievances, and the responsive government and a responsive leadership responding to the public. But why is there that disconnect? On the one hand, alam nilang pwede nilang sandalan ang free press. On the other hand, pagka binatikos ang free press, ganun din kabilis ilaglag.
I really believe that we have not seeded it deeply enough. We don't talk about the high points of what the free press has done through its history. If you look at the curriculum, nobody studies history anymore. Nobody knows the role of La Solidaridad. Nobody knows the role of the alternative press during the first EDSA, or the lead up to the EDSA, more important. That we do not talk about it as much. And really, I'm sorry to say that also the rivalries among the news organizations hold back the building up of solidarity, institutional solidarity, na kung merong masaktan sa isa sa atin, lahat tayo masasaktan. Kung isa sa atin humina, malahat tayo hihina. We have not come down to that point. And so the disconnect is to pick and choose as well. Also, let us not forget that we have been subjected to just about the most devastating stream of propaganda against the mainstream press. We were all bayaran, we were all dilawan, whatever. And when you think about it, President Aquino has been one of the most criticized, devastatingly criticized. And yet, in the turn around politically, all of a sudden, those who criticized were being critical were now because we were yellow. I mean, and this was propaganda. The social media had become this wonderful, great, magical force that nobody really understood the force of it, did not understand it in the very beginning. It was just so much fun to begin with. I can be just as big as Robbie Alampay and Ed Lingao and everyone else.
But
There,
Melinda,
sitting in front of
I
me.
suppose the press is also in a curious position because the president himself is surrounded by people from the press. You have
Absolutely.
Martin Adlar, who's head of PCO. You have Joel Egco, who is with the task force. You have,
Yeah,
for
but look-
example, Bobby Tiglao of Manila Times, and so on down the line. And
So
you also have a lot of people from the press who also seem to agree with what the president does. I mean, there are significant numbers of reporters, both local and national, who seem to like what he's doing, even to the institution that we belong to.
Well, that speaks a lot for our lack of solidarity. Didn't I say this to begin with? That fundamentally we have not built ourselves as a community that believed in the same things, that we had become part of the political DNA. It is true. So you can be adversarial, but you can be adversarial where it is convenient for you at a certain point. So the whole issue of media ethics, the whole issue of corruption, if society is corrupt and nobody's going to deny that it is corrupt, then media will also be part of that corruption. We are part of that cycle. And I think the more honest we are about it, if you say Martin Ardanar, etc., yes, let's look at the histories then. What do they stand for? What have they stood for? And most of us basically can say that for the last 20, 25 years, this is what I have been doing, etc. And we stand on those credentials. So we also have to begin to look for the core, the values that will hold us up if we are to withstand this kind of attack and threat. It is a threat.
With all due respect, Bobby Tiglao will probably say the same thing. That he's
Well,
been working like forever. I mean, the guy is a veteran. And
Yes, but he's also
probably say,
but
who
he
are
has
you
also
now to lay the
But he has also become a government official. He's been ambassador. He's been what? He's been part of the Gloria Arroyo camp for so long. I mean, the whole politicization of a lot of journalism is part of our problem. I'm not saying, let's just look at people who are good, because we will make mistakes. Journalism is quick. We have to work fast. Sometimes we will make mistakes. But do we become politicians? That, to me, is the biggest question. Or do we become agents of politicians? That is another question. And that is basically, I think, what we have to do when we say, why is there a disconnect? There's a disconnect because we, like the rest of our society and like the rest of the government, are made into those who know the rules, know the principles, live by the values, and try to live by those values. We may fail every now and then, but we hold to these values because that's the only thing that's going to give us the worth of whatever we claim as a press.
Ma'am Melinda,
Yes.
you mentioned advertisers earlier, and I want to digress a bit. I want to go back to another aspect of this pandemic that is impacting on media organizations all over the country. I mean, it's the economic. These are also businesses, and there are a lot of especially smaller media organizations that are feeling the impact, the economic impact of this pandemic. And it will make you think, is this a major cause of concern? It will make them more vulnerable to political influence. It will
Absolutely.
make them more vulnerable to compromises in the way they present the news, in the way they comment.
At the webinar this morning, the PPI executive director basically said it's one half stripped. 50% of the existing members of the Philippine Press Institute are no longer operating. The market has decided there is no market at this point that is functioning, and this basically has left many of the family news weeklies, the little radio stations that are operating in the remote areas. These are gone for now, and how and when they will come back, we do not know. It will all depend on how strongly and how vibrantly the economy revives. Nobody says that it's going to be easy. It will probably be a very, very long haul. I think we should begin to look at these consequences and basically say, what do we do with this kind of culling? And to begin to talk to advertisers and to begin to talk to supporters and basically say, do you want to look at the work that's been there, because the archives are there, the record of printing, etc. They can go around, look at communities, and basically select and find out who they will give venture enterprise money to, so that they can perhaps restart some of these community news companies. And I think this is where the real democracy is as well, because these are the ones that are on ground. They are serving the country where the masses are, and they are making
Melinda, Melinda, I just want to focus the light on, as you said, what's happening on the ground. And gusto ko lang balikan yung isang nabanggit mo. PPI says 50% of their membership from around the country is basically what? Suspending, folding, and all in the context of these past few months?
Because of the pandemic.
Because of the pandemic, because there is no market, there are no judicial notices as well, which is the bread and butter of many news weeklies. Many are working as freelancers, so those two have gone completely, they have no means of living. As far as the established community newspapers, they are going to have a very hard time restarting, because they will have, at this point, you know how the money cycle goes. When you're paying for your printing press, you're waiting for the whatever revenues that come in first before you start paying them. So they will be in debt for a while. Yes, it will have killed off something that was very, very vibrant in the country. And
you
ours
would say the main profile of the majority of groups are at the local level. These would be community journalists.
These are community journalists, indeed. Yes, definitely, yeah.
And it will have an impact on governance, right? If there are that's the function of the media in most areas, to serve as partly watchdogs. It will have an impact on governance, right? And
Of course.
Yes.
And that's why I say we should try to look for sources of support, because government will probably want to give them the startup fund, and that would make them then owe their startup to the power that be, whoever that is in the community. And that then is a huge question in terms of the autonomy of the community press, which has already been in question because so many of them are struggling journalists anyway to begin with, struggling at making a living and trying to combine different ways of earning money. Yes, we are in a very terrible place, I think.
Let me bring in the issue of ABS-CBN, ma'am. As we all know, the franchise expires tonight. Now, Congress and the Senate, they've been and the Justice Department, they've been talking about, no need to worry. A provisional authority will be granted and so on down the line. But now we have Calida and we have Larry Gadon raising certain issues, and that seems to show that just how tenuous the existence of ABS-CBN is right now, and how long this could go on. So where are we right now from your perspective?
We're in a very bad place. I had said, I will say it again and again and again. If this happens to ABS-CBN, it can happen to anyone. And so all the existing news organizations will basically feel that they have to be on the good side of the powers that be. Where does that put us then? Where does that put us then? It is only, I think, when you have a real cry out for the right for that franchise not to be politicized. Basically, it is just a renewal. They have been operating for the last 25 years, and you throw out the 25 years and basically say no more, gone, all gone. That is capricho. It's capricious whim. And if we allow it, as we have allowed so many things to begin with, tell me where that is going. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I don't think we need a crystal ball. We're going to basically say it would be a press that is at the pleasure of the powers that be.
Do we need to remove the power of Congress to grant franchises to broadcast entities? Does it have to be,
one of the first things that we had said when CMFR came out was who grants the power? And if that is in the hands of politicians, then it went on deaf ears. We went around basically saying, well, is the National Telecommunication Commission, is the NTC part of it? But then they say, well, appointed din yan. Pareho rin lang. So until we grow to a point, I think, where we can say, you may appoint me, but you're appointing me because you believe that I can do the job, not because I will do what you desire. And so it needs a kind of public education, I think, that should go deep into the hearts of the young people now. I think that's the only hope we have. They have the numbers. If you basically say to them that somebody can say, no more this news organization, no more this, that, no more entertainment program like what you see in whatever, because we're the ones who are deciding, then maybe something, their right to entertainment, why not? I will use any of those channels to basically make them conscious of their own responsibility to protect and to defend and to talk about how important a free press is to them.
Okay. Maraming salamat po. Melinda Quintos de Jesus, the Director of the Center for Media
Thanks,
Freedom
Melinda.
and Responsibility. Always pleasure to have you. Always very passionate and always very animated.
Too much. It's too late at night to be passionate.
Thank you, Ma'am Melinda. Thank you for joining us. Good night po.
Okay,
before we end, Lucy.
Goodbye. Correction. Hindi pala Addition Hills yung Reliance, kundi Highway Hills. Yan. Pero i-hard lockdown nga raw yung Addition Hills. Sabi yun yung
That's beginning when? Beginning tonight? Beginning...
May... nakalimutan ko. Hindi ko alam.
So, hindi kami pwede pumasok.
Then for 7 days, 7 days. Yun ang alam.
Anong sabihin, hindi kami pwede pumasok?
Hindi na tayo kasama. Barangay Buayang Bato and Barangay Highway Hills tayo.
Beginning Friday.
So Addition Hills yung apektado, hindi Highway Hills.
So, hindi apektado ang TV5. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sige. Kinabahan ako nun. Okay.
Ibig sabihin nun, bukas, nandito lang ako sa bahay.
Talaga.
Wala pa rin magbabago. Wala pa rin magbabago.
Si Ed lang ako mag-a-adjust. Okay.
Sige, pupunta ako ng Boracay. Sige, okay, sige. Well, I guess that's it. That's it for this edition of the Chiefs. We hope what was discussed here will keep the conversation going. I'm Edwin Gao, One News.
I'm Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star.
I'm Lucy Cruz Valdez of News 5.
And I'm Robbie Alampay. We are One News.